Hi there, I hope you didn't get too depressed from my last video. I hope you send it to other people, because it is very important, because it shows you that there is a hard, let's say, limit to what you can do with the climate, with the atmosphere, so you don't disturb it too much and you don't get chemical imbalances that you cannot repair with any possibility. It's quite depressing that Shell is simply going ahead with all kinds of refineries and drilling. It has to be stopped. This is simply a genocidal activity. On a more positive note, I guess, and I'll be short because my battery ran out again, I think it's game over. I think if you're an American and you live in America, you have to realize it's game over. There's no longer the same game being played as 5 years ago. It's a different game. And the game that was played, everybody that still believes in it is a victim, is going to be a victim. If you are an escapist and if you're hiding in, let's say, surfing every day and looking at the sunshine and being on Zynga and doing Farmville and being very hip in New York with your credit card, you will be one of the victims. You will be stuck. I think it won't be very long until Americans cannot travel freely anymore if they're in debt. So let's say if you have an outstanding payment, maybe it's already the case that you cannot travel freely anymore. Because this, I think the seduction, or the, how do you call that? It's pretty attractive to simply leave the country if you can rack up a debt, turn it into bullion coins, throw those in your backpack, and end up in Thailand. It's not a bad thing, But the game is over. I think at the top level, and which is now completely corporate, there's an attitude that is, it's gonna be horrible, it's gonna be devastating. People that don't know it are an advantage, so don't tell them, don't alert them, and let's just rake in as much as possible as we can. Justice, not important, has to do with keeping ourselves alive, keeping the money flowing, keeping our coffers full of money and assets, and whatever we can rake in right now, because we don't know if it's going to last 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 months, 4 months more, and the calamity then will be enormous. And you can simply realize that, I talked about it before, if the fiat currency collapses, if the oil supply collapses, if the food supply collapses, then you are in deep shit if you're in the wrong place. So, and that's just the general sentiment that I get from a number of people commenting on the situation. And it's really not useful at all to be outraged by anything anymore. By CFTC being corrupt or some banker getting a bonus or whatever. It really is not useful at all. What's useful, I think, is to think about how you get out of the situation that you're in. How do you get out, perhaps, of the country that you're in? Do you want to be, under global surveillance 24/7 and your bank account being monitored by? Sounds like a horrible prospect to me. Now, if you can isolate yourself, and there are states that are trying to achieve that, then that's fine. I'm not sure how it will pan out, but it's like the party is over and people are leaving, and I wouldn't like to be the last one to leave, or simply the game that you were playing and you were abiding by the rules and being, let's say, a fair person playing. The people that you are, that are your opponents, that you play that game with, that taught you the game basically, they don't care about the rules. They just enjoy the fact that you are adhering to them, and they have huge advantage because you are adhering to them. You're considering all those rules very stringently, and you believe in them because you basically feel like, it's the trade-off. If you organize, you don't have to, let's say, trust and believe in the rules, because you know you're strong because you're organized. And if you're not organized, like if you're individualistic and if you're competitive with other people and you're envious and you don't cooperate, then you are quite likely to be clinging on to the virtual reality that once was, but simply is now crumbling, is no longer there. And the way to escape that sense of vulnerability and to become strong is to cooperate with other people, become locally autonomous, and make sure that you're prepared for the things that are coming. Don't let yourself be outraged by all kinds of nonsense that's going on. Understand that it's a symptom, it's a sign that the game is over. You're no longer playing.